Today's topic is two conjunctions, denn and weil. Both of these words mean the same thing when translated to English. They both mean because. So they are almost interchangeable in terms of their meaning. However, they don't work the same way grammatically, so that will be the focus of today's video. Denn is what is known as a coordinating conjunction. In other words, when you use denn to link two sentences, nothing has to change within those sentences. They're in the same order they would have been in if they'd been separate sentences. Weil, on the other hand, is a subordinating conjunction. When we use weil to connect two sentences, the verb after weil will be moved to the end of its clause. Let's look at some examples of this so we can compare how the two words work. Let's say that I wanted to go to the butcher's. Ich muss zum Metzger gehen. If I wanted to add a reason, such as ich brauche Aufschnitt, then I could do this with the exact same order when I use denn as if they were two separate sentences. I put a comma after the first sentence, where the period used to be. Then I add the word denn to mean because, and then I add the second clause, ich brauche Aufschnitt, in the exact same order as the original. Notice that the verb in the second clause is exactly where it should be, next to the subject and in second position. The full sentence becomes ich muss zum Metzger gehen, denn ich brauche Aufschnitt. And again, notice the comma. Now let's use the same two sentences, but this time we're going to combine them with the conjunction weil. This time we again start with ich muss zum Metzger gehen. We have the exact same reason. And so if we start with ich muss zum Metzger gehen, we're again going to replace the period at the end of that, it's no longer a standalone sentence, and replace that with a comma. But now we're using weil. Weil means that the conjugated verb will move to the end of its clause. It's no longer next to the subject. Notice that brauche is all the way at the end. But it's still conjugated the same way. So notice that there's a comma separating the two clauses, and also notice that brauche has changed position but not conjugation. Let's compare some more complicated sentences that use denn and weil. In each of these sentences with denn, notice that the conjugated verb is in the second position of its clause, as it should be. Now compare the same sentences, with the difference being that the sentences in orange here are using weil, not denn. Here the conjugated verb is exactly the same as in the first sentence, but this time it has shifted position to the end of its clause. In the second sentence, notice that there are now actually two verbs stacked at the end of the sentence. Putzen is there because it's the infinitive verb in a sentence with a modal verb, but weil has now moved muss to the end, after putzen. The same thing occurs in the fourth sentence. Ich muss zum Supermarkt gehen, weil ich Butter kaufen soll. Again, because of weil, that conjugated verb, soll, must move to final position in its clause. Let's review. Denn and weil both mean because. Word order in a clause after denn is unchanged. It's the same as if it were a standalone sentence. But after weil, you'll need to move the conjugated verb to the end of its clause, but you keep it conjugated normally.